Hey folks, so we got our helper here, Eleanor, the Maine Coon, and we are going to do a video here about the golf ball rollback proposed by the R&A over in Europe. I read some articles on this on Golf Digest, and I just wasn't very happy with the results that I found or what I was given. So now I just wanted to try this out here. And this may get a little heated. As you know, I've managed golf courses here, and now I own a golf course. I'm going on my third season owning, and I managed one for three other years before this. Golf's in my blood. I'm an avid golfer. I'm a scratch golfer. I played college golf, so this doesn't affect any amateurs like ourselves, but I still find it ridiculous that the R&A is proposing something like this. And you know what I find even more ridiculous is a quote by Rory McIlroy that he made just before this tournament this last week, where he hit the 375-yard drive and put it, I think, within 3 feet of the hole on a par 4. And he said he didn't mind the golf ball rollback because it would really decipher out who was good and who was really good. And I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with it. So here we go. The R&A and USGA have been hinting a rollback for years, and now they have put everyone on notice. A new local rule is set to be introduced in January 2026, which will limit how far the golf ball travels in top-level competitions. The proposed changes, which will impact the testing conditions for golf balls, will not affect the equipment rules governing recreational players, but will instead be aimed at professional and elite amateur players. So now let's bring this up. Golf balls, for me, a Callaway professional staffer, cost me for my business $37.50 for a dozen of Chrome Soft. I have to try to sell those for $50. I'm not making a lot of money on every dozen sold. So now impacts the testing conditions of golf balls. So now these companies such as Callaway or Titleist need to put more research and development money into their golf balls, making them fly less, not longer, less. These companies have been putting research and development in golf balls for years to make them to go farther and farther and farther and better and better and better. Now you're taking that off of the golf ball. And you know who that hurts? It hurts the business owner. It hurts the recreational golfer because the price of the golf balls is bound to go up more and more. So that's the first problem I see with this. How did it come to this? Tiger proofing, blah, 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 blah. To prove their point, the R&A have just dropped their annual distance report, which reveals that over the last 20 years, hitting distances have increased on average by about 1 yard per year. Clearly, it's a problem that isn't going away, which is the way it should be. Technology advances. People, R&A, technology advances. This is so goddamn frustrating because people watch the Masters, people watch the Open, people watch tournaments because they like to see Rory hit 375-yard drives. So what? That's part of the game now. That is part of the game. We don't need to take that away from professional golfers. It's fucking frustrating is what it is. And what exactly are the R&A and USGA proposing? Let's read this. Okay. Under the new proposal, golf balls struck at a robot-controlled swing of 127, up from 120 miles per hour, must not exceed 320 yards to conform. The change is expected to roll back the golf ball by 15 yards for the game's longest hitters, effectively bringing us back to the late 90s. So the pros and the amateurs share of the pros and the top-level elite amateurs share the same tech as what I do as a scratch golfer and a Callaway staffer who can sell golf balls and clubs to, my members or my friends. So now you're telling me that all that research and development put in since the 90s and all the costs associated with that put onto the consumer was for nothing. It doesn't make any sense. So now we've been paying these ridiculous manufacturer costs, and I don't even want to get started on how much they have gone up in price and how ridiculous they are. And now you're telling me that we've been paying for that research and development in the cost of our clubs for, what, 20 years? 30 years? For nothing? And now we're rolling that back for professionals, basically? Now, granted, the technology in clubs isn't going to change. It's with the golf ball. But that basically put manufacturers at a standstill for distance with clubs, with all clubs. So let's read this. How do the manufacturers feel about it? They're not happy, and we don't blame them. If the proposal gets the green light, all current golf balls will be rendered non-conforming in the pro game. Thus, they'll need to spend millions, yes, millions on R&D to keep their players happy. All of the golf's major stakeholders now until August 14th, 2023 to provide their feedback. And let me tell you, I hope that they provide some fucking feedback to these goddamn idiots at the fucking R&D or R&A and USGA for pushing this game back. I mean, what is this? What do these organizations here provide to us that we can't provide for ourselves? This is ridiculous. It's terrible. And the reason why I'm so heated to this is because I'm a business owner. My business makes money for myself. I don't make a ton of money. So when you take away the thrill of watching a person hit the ball 375 yards, and now you're not able to watch that, I'm going to lose viewers at my golf course. I'm going to lose golfers at my golf course. Even though it doesn't truly affect them, they're not going to be able to go out and think they're Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy and hit the ball as far. So I'm losing money as the little man in the picture. How do golf club owners feel about it? They don't like it. They don't like it at all. Golf is so close to being the perfect sport for people to play, and it's so close to being more progressive in its values and its thoughts. But now shit like this pushes it back. Pushes it back. So it's not okay. It's not okay. I'll just quit playing golf if the golf balls, if we have to buy those golf balls for ourselves and play in tournaments. I'll just quit playing, and I'm gonna write a nasty letter to the RNA and USGA. It's a local rule still. Tours will be able to decide whether they want to use it or not, which, knowing the PGA Tour, they probably will. I just think it's ridiculous that, and this, I don't want to get political with this at all, so I'm not going to. But I just think it's ridiculous that we're pushing golf back when we need to push it forward. And this is the problem with these old fuckers who are doing this shit. They're old, they're dumb. I hope they fucking hear it too. I own a goddamn golf course, and I'm young. Golf is fun. You can go out and play golf with your friends, have a hell of a time, bomb drives, you can have some beers, you can have some cocktails. Tell me what other sport you can do that. Tell me what other main level sport you can go and do that. And here we go. Rory McIlroy. Blah, 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 blah. Yep, here we go. I think the USGA over the years has, in my eyes, it's harsh, but made some pretty selfish decisions. They definitely, in my mind, have done a lot of things that aren't for the betterment of the game. And that I do agree. You're trying to create a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. And that's where I see it. And that's where people at the USGA and RNA go wrong. You're treating this game like a game from the 70s and 80s. I mean, we've experienced such a growth in golf the last couple of years with COVID that it sucks now. We're trying to push that growth back and we're trying to push it down. And now we're losing the people, the young people who are going to continue this game because this older generation of people are either getting too old to golf or they're dying off. And now we're stuck in this point where we're going to decline our play in the game. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me why they're doing this. And I can't see their point. I really don't see their point. Yes, and here it is. It's too extreme. It creates a huge void between players. One of the coolest things about golf is you can come out and play with a PGA Tour player with a 30 handicap and we're playing the same sport. I can't go play football with Tom Brady with pads on a Sunday. I'll get killed. Exactly. Great point, Keegan Bradley. Great point. Bryson DeChambeau, here we go. I think it's the most atrocious thing that you could possibly do to the game of golf. It's not about rolling golf balls back. It's about making golf courses more difficult. I think it's the most unimaginative, uninspiring, game-cutting thing you could do. Everybody wants to see people hit it farther. That's the part of the reason why a lot of people like what I do. Exactly, Bryson DeChambeau. So now, let's bring in the monetary side of it. These poor manufacturers who have and I shouldn't say poor, they're all making money, but these manufacturers who are putting millions of dollars into R&D and passing it on to the consumer, that was basically for naught. That was basically for naught. So it's frustrating now. Out of all the money that I've spent on golf clubs, it's all for naught, and golf balls too. And granted, now golf balls for us are still going to be great. They're still going to be fantastic. You're going to be able to buy a Pro V1 or a Chrome Soft, and they're still going to be fantastic. But now knowing that, we're gonna be shopping at the Golf Galaxy or the PGA Tour Superstore, and we're gonna walk in. We're gonna say, hey, this golf ball isn't the same one that the professionals use. Now I'm not on their level, basically. The companies are not putting millions. They're still putting millions into R&D, but they're not going to be putting the same amount of money into R&D for that specific golf ball now, because they have to take money out of R&D and putting it into a golf ball that flies at 80% or whatever the R&A wants. So I just don't feel like that's progressing the game at all. I mean, R&A, USGA, explain to me how this rule is progressing the game. Please tell me. Tell me. I mean, that's all I got on it. That's my rant.